Greetings, I'm Art Fireman. We are Projector Reviews TV. Now I'm catching up with this video review, and here's the story. Normally I review a projector, write it up, and that's it. But if a manufacturer would like us to make a video out of the review, we do charge them for it, and that's why we create a lot more videos of some companies' projectors than others. Fair enough. These Epsons received one of our Hot Product Awards. Think of those as our equivalent of an Editor's Choice Award. I received the engineering sample of the Home Cinema 2040 shortly after the announcement in early August. The timing was just close enough for it to squeak into the most recently posted 2015 Best Home Theater Projectors report. In that report, which was published about 2 weeks before the shooting of this video. In that report, the Epson Home Cinema 2040 and the 2045 received our best-in-class entry-level, that's under $1,000, award as Best Value Projector. Let's start with an overview of these projectors. These two Epsons, the Home Cinema 2040 and 2045, have official $799 and $849 price tags. That puts them into our entry-level category for the purposes of our annual report. Our report, by the way, only covers 1080p and 4K projectors. Both models are capable of streaming, as both have an HDMI port that with an MHL capability for streaming sticks, and that's the mobile high definition standard, and this is a Roku stick. And you can also use those from Amazon, Google, and even Apple TV. The only difference between these two models is that the HC 2040 lacks the built-in Miracast WiDi that the 2045 has. The 2045 can stream and do direct screens directly from Miracast equipped laptops and other devices. The 2045 therefore offers some additional convenience for a few people, but the 2040 will be the most popular of the two. These projectors support a modest manual zoom with a 1.22 to 1 ratio. Like most cost projectors, they rely on keystone correction or setting the projector at the proper height to maintain a rectangular image. Only a very few projectors under $1,000 offer lens shift, and those that do serve up a very limited range. I often point out that many owners of low-cost projectors like these tend to buy them more as a bigger substitute to HDTV viewing. That is, general purpose, not just about watching movies, but perhaps also a lot of sports, sitcoms, maybe game playing, or Game of Thrones. I do complain typically that there's one missing feature in lower cost projectors in general, and that is particularly good for sports viewing and that many people like for all non-movie viewing, and that would be CFI, Creative Frame Interpolation, aka smooth motion. The Home Cinema 2040 and 2045 are the exception to the rule in that they both offer CFI. With most brands lineups, you have to spend $1,500, $2,000 or more to get this capability. That's a real plus for these Epsons compared to the competition. These projectors are very bright home projectors, easily bright enough to double as portable business projectors, if need be. Officially, they produce 2200 both color and white lumens. As noted later in the video, Epson beat their lumen claim, if only slightly. Still, most projectors measure about 10% short of claim, so that's a nice touch. This is a projector designed not so much for the dedicated theater, but your media room, your family room, your living room den, or whatever you got. What's the difference? A dedicated home theater should have mostly dark surfaces and full lighting control. These guys are built to work in most rooms and even with some ambient light present. Now, if you need an even brighter projector, Epson does have the model 1040, which is exactly the same $799. It's a more pure home entertainment projector, lacks the CFI and a couple of other things. By the way, we measure white lumens for all of our reviews, but fully recognize the importance of color lumens. For those measurements, we rely on an independent lab that has produced color lumen measurements for roughly 100 different projectors that are currently shipping. Virtually all 3 LCD and LCOS projectors claim as many color lumens as whites, and the lab confirms that. Most single-chip DLPs, however, produce only between 1/3 and 2/3 as many color lumens as white ones. No matter, ideally you want as many color lumens as white for the most accurate color representation. Projectors with low color lumens simply need to sacrifice a larger percentage of claimed white lumens to end up with a well-balanced color picture. It all works out in the wash because those DLPs probably claim more white lumens to begin with. Let's take a look at a movie video clip while I talk about the Home Cinema 2040's picture quality. Okay, getting back to the Home Cinema 2040 and 2045, if I had to pick one thing about the 2040 that I have here that truly stands out, it would be the out-of-the-box color. There are 4 color modes: dynamic, which is the brightest, which is typical for projectors, has too much greens, and 3 modes that are really good in terms of color: bright cinema, natural, and cinema. Then for 3D viewing, there's two more modes, 3D Dynamic, which is bright, and 3D Cinema, which is better color. As long as I've mentioned 3D, these Epsons have enough brightness that 3D Dynamic can fill a 100-inch screen and not at all seem dim. Note that in 3D, you're losing about 2/3 or more of your overall brightness compared to 2D viewing, so that's impressive. Even 3D Cinema provides decent brightness at 100 inches diagonal. Nice. I rewatched portions of Alice in Wonderland last night in 3D, mostly in 3D Dynamic, but I did spend some time also watching in 3D Cinema and found it acceptable, if not quite as bright as I would have liked. Now, the reason we didn't calibrate the 2040, which we do for a lot of the even the lower cost projectors, is simply because the color just turned out to be so good right out of the box. I mean, virtually everyone should be happy. Some of the still images mixed into this video, or better yet, check out the full online review, will convince you of that as far as color goes. Let's take a close look now at the hardware. Okay, time for our hardware tour, Epson's Home Cinema 2040 and the Home Cinema 2045, which is physically identical. Let's start in the front. There's a door right here which acts as an AV mute, also protects the lens when not in use. The zoom lens, of course, is recessed with inside. Down below we have a drop-down adjustable center front foot. Over here we have the infrared sensor, the front one, and over here an exhaust. Okay, now right behind this is your focus and zoom rings, which are all deeply recessed, and a keystone corner adjustment slide right over here. As we turn to the side, we find a filter over here, and it's a quick release door, easy to pull out the filter. You don't have to change that very often. There's also a security Kensington lock hiding out right over there. The back have two screw thread adjustable rear feet on the outsides for a 3-point stance. And that brings us to the back of our projector here. What we've got from left to right, a USB port, a service port, a standard PC input. After all, this guy will also double as a nice small business projector. And then we have a pair of HDMI inputs. The first one, of course, has MHL for working with streaming devices and the such. In addition, going down the center here, a standard composite video and a pair of matching stereo inputs, all RCA jacks, and there's a stereo mini audio output so that you can feed the sound that might be coming in from a streaming stick right out to an external stereo system, home theater in a box, whatever you've got that has bigger sound than the built-in but small speaker that is included with the Epson. The only other things lying on the back here are the infrared rear sensor. So between the two of them, the remote has excellent range from anywhere in the room. And you've got the power receptacle. The Epson Home Cinema 2040's control panel is very typical for Epson home projectors, but there's always a few differences. We start off with the power over here. We have this assortment of indicator lights, including lamp and temperature. The new home screen, which is, this is the first projector we've seen it on, is a one-touch button away, and right below that is the standard source, which will allow you to toggle between all the available sources. That leaves our main navigation area, starting with the menu, our 4 arrows in a diamond configuration, up, down, left, and right, and the escape button, which takes you back up one menu level at a time. By the way, when you're in the menus, pressing menu a second time closes the menus. Now, each of these 4 arrow keys has a dual function when not in the navigation system. Keystone correction, again, is on the top and the bottom, and speaker volume on the left and the right. Of course, basically all this stuff can be controlled using the remote control through the menus. And that concludes our tour of Epson's HC2040 and HC2045. Hey, welcome back. Don't forget that at only 6.4 pounds and with a built-in speaker, this projector can easily go mobile. Take it out back for a movie night or schlep it with you on vacation, or maybe take it to a friend's for some gaming. It'll fit into a backpack. Speaking of gaming, the input lag times are very acceptable. That should please all but the most hardcore gamers, the kind that buy specific monitors and graphics cards, expensive ones with virtually no lag. Let's say that the lag should be okay for all but those pesky top 1% hardcore gamers. Folks, that pretty much covers it for this video. Remember, there's far more information, including all the menus and such, in the full online review. Good job, Epson, for providing a pair of projectors that work as excellent home entertainment projectors, but thanks to the gray color, can double as entry-level or first home theater projectars. I'm Art Fireman, we're Projector Reviews TV. And projectorreviews.com, thanks for watching. Check out the whole review.